Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Batiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680.
Hey, yo, what's good, my peeps? Welcome to Startup Masters, the show where if you are thinking about starting up a business or you have a business or you're in between a situation, yo, this is where you want to be because we are going to be dropping the illest knowledge, the dopest content exactly for you because we're going to have the genius that's going to sit between G and I so that you don't have to skin up your knee to the white meat. Team no white meat.
No white meat.
Just in case you was wondering, I am Kalia Guillory, also known as KG, and I'm so happy you decided to come and hang out with us and get some knowledge with you. You can follow me on KOG Speaks on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as Instagram. And my co-host, G, what's good?
What's up, KG? What's good? What's good, good world? Welcome back to another episode of Startup Masters where we talk about all the ins and outs of technology. I'm talking about technology. I didn't hop from Startup Masters to technology because we had some technology glitches.
But that's how we roll.
So the mind just clicked.
But
Boom,
you got to click
boom,
just like that because that's what an entrepreneur does. They can pivot as quickly as possible.
That's what we do. So getting back to the business at hand here on Startup Masters, follow me anywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, at G Hawkins, that's G Hawkins with a Z. And let me just say this. It's always good when we're talking about the finances. It's always good when we're getting your financial house in order, when we're putting protection around you so you can grow your business, so you can grow your personal legacy that you've got for other people. So I always get excited when we have these type of conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Because they not only mean something for you today, but they mean so much for your family, your grandkids, all the other generations that's behind you. All those people are affected by the decisions you make today.
Come on.
And we need to think about that so much more. Am I right, KG?
Man, listen, I feel like we need to go and get a praise moment in this place or something because what G is talking about, guys, we got Elijah, our intern in the back, giving us a hands up, is what we're talking about is generational wealth. We're not talking about being rich. We're not talking about balling out of control. We are talking about wealth. We're talking about family. We're talking about legacy. We're talking about family crest. And what's even more just hit me?
Talk about
we got a young man that's an intern that's getting all this knowledge right now.
All of it. Sewn into him. He don't even know it.
He don't even know it. So in 20 years,
he
he's going to be like, man, I'm so grateful for that opportunity.
The rule of 72, that's what they were talking about. Roth IRA,
that's what they were talking about. Compounded interest?
That's what they were talking. All those things are going to hit them. But I'm excited. We didn't pump the audience up. Facebook Live, we see you. Faith, what's up? Everybody's crunk. KG, you want to do the honors and let's get this thing popping?
G, now you already know when we met this gentleman months ago, shout out to our boy Tristan Sutton at hashtag Boss Brunch.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what was really going on is that I had an instant connection with this gentleman because you could tell when someone has a good even toned spirit. You can tell when somebody is all about the business.
Talk about
Talk about that relationship currency.
That's the way it's at.
Not about the currency that jingle and fold in your pocket. This gentleman got 19 plus years in the game, G. 19 plus, older than Elijah. But moreover than that, he founded the Phalanx Financial Services Group Solutions. Wait, I'm going to get that right.
That's
Solutions Group.
Yeah, there it is.
Because he wanted to provide protection, a holistic approach that's unbiased so he can meet the needs of all people.
There it is.
I can't do any more justice to this fella. So we got to welcome Eddie Stallworth, CEO, to the show.
What's up, Eddie?
What's up,
Thank
Eddie?
you so much, guys, for having me. You pumped me up so much.
We did.
No pressure, right?
None.
It's real here. It is real here. This
Genius
is what we
is
do.
in the building.
Oh,
The genius
man.
is in the building.
Thank you all.
When you
Thank
step
all.
to this table, man, the power is there, and we want to give it back to our audience. We want to give it back to our viewers. We're talking to people that are sitting on their couches right now watching this. We're also talking to those that are listening in their car on their way to work tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Listening on the way home, stuck in traffic like a Sunday morning,
Yeah.
and they've got nothing better to hear but some financial information that's going to change their lives, and that is the blessing in disguise that they don't even know. So I'm excited. We're excited, and we want to do this. We're going to take these people on a financial journey here, not just a regular journey, but a financial journey.
All right.
So we're going to talk about the past, present, and future of things that you brought to the table.
All right.
And how things have changed in the financial services world, and how you all stay around and protect them with that Phalanx, precision military moves that you all have.
Right.
We want to talk about that. Are you ready to talk about that
I'm
today,
ready to
Eddie?
talk about it.
Well, let's
Let's
dive
do it.
in. Let's
All right.
dive in. Take us back in time. Rewind the tape. Where were you at when you said, you know what? Phalanx Financial Solutions Group LLC needs to be created. What was going on in your life, man?
Well, to be quite honest, I was in the financial industry.
Okay.
Was new into the industry. Had just come out of the real estate industry.
All right. And what year was this? Give us a time frame.
This was around 2005 to 2006.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And was working for a company with a large insurance company. I don't want to name the company, but it was a large company. And what I noticed is that whenever I talk to people, they would always skew you toward having a preconceived notion of how it was supposed to go. So
okay.
it wasn't so much about what the customer needed or the client needed. It was really about convincing them this is where you are and this is what you need.
A canned solution.
Yeah, and really driven by the commission coming in on the other end. And
So the wrong intention.
what I also understood was that people were not really understanding what the true rules of money was, which is the reason why so many people are consumers that's out of control, is they don't understand the power that they have in their hands when they have the money. It's not about how much you have; it's about how much you keep. It's not about. It's not
Here
even
they come.
about. It's not.
Here they
it-
come.
it's
The
not-
gyms are coming. I hear 'em.
I already feel it.
Yes, he already dropped one. I hope y'all Facebook Live. I hope y'all caught that. Go ahead, Eddie. Keep it going, man.
And I came to understand also the true meaning of what life insurance was about. We've all been socialized. We've been socialized for generations now. We
have.
watch television. We listen to the radio. We have people talk to us. People who are in areas of authority we think really know what they're talking about, and they do. Except what we don't realize, they are not necessarily looking out for our best interest. Okay? So as I got to understand what insurance was about, understand that insurance is a scientific portion of economics. It's a way to preserve wealth. That's what it was designed to do. We were told, as a byproduct, life insurance is something that we do to pay for a burial. And so insurance companies sold a bunch of little policies and made a mint. Sometimes they paid, sometimes they didn't. But what wealthier people were using life insurance for was as a tax shelter, because that's what it was designed to do. Now, see, we haven't understood that. And so it's the only place you can take after-tax money, put it into a product that is a black box that the IRS cannot see and peer into or even look into to touch. It grows tax deferred. And also what's cool is that the person who owns the policy can actually go in it at any time. The IRS can't. So you don't do it with a 401k. You can't do it with a 403b. You can't do it with a 457. You can't do it with a 401. You can't do any of that because they control. You have a partner, IRS. But in a life insurance policy, you're on the game.
Talk about it.
So, as time has gone on, they've tried to tighten the regulation on it. But truly, if you want wealth, people say, well, you don't need life insurance policy. It's not really something that you got to have as part of your investment and your retirement strategy. Yes, it is, because it's a great way for you to be able to pass on an asset and be able to take care of that asset, passing on to the next generation without getting hit over the head with taxes. You pay your taxes through your life insurance policy.
There it is.
You can buy your house through your life insurance policy.
These boys dropping gems. The gym just started.
It's a gym show.
It's the gym show.
It's a gym show.
It's the Eddie Gym show.
We had a client that had a policy. It was a $10 million policy. It's a huge policy. His kids grew up. He had two of them, boy and a girl. He took money out of his policy and actually paid their school, all 4 years for both, put the money back in his policy. When they got ready to get married, he promised them, I'll buy your first home. So he bought their first home out of the policy, took cash out, boom, boom, paid it. They paid him a house note for 30 years. He put the money back into the policy. So it was all said and done. They had the asset and the money. See the strategy?
Watch this. He became the bank.
Exactly.
You use
He
your
was
insurance
the
policy
bank.
as the bank.
Exactly.
It's something about if you know the financial game, KG.
Yeah.
Listen,
If you know the game.
and if we take it a little step further, he's more than the bank. He done went to the biblical terms of this thing. He was the lender, not the borrower. I ain't gonna say nothing else about that.
Exactly.
But what I will say about this finance game is that this portion of the show is sponsored by the Houston Housewives of Finance. Did you know that only 4 states in the United States offer financial education? 33% or more than 77 million of Americans don't pay their bills on time. 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month, and 39% of the adults say that they don't have enough savings. Don't become one of these statistics. Let the Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or email us at info@houstonhousewivesoffinance.com. Ask us how you can participate in a complimentary financial literacy workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services. Eddie, you talking about people being the bank.
Yes. Yes. And it doesn't have to be these huge policies. It can be something small. It doesn't mean that you have to pay all 4 years of your kids. You may only pay for 2. But the point is, it puts you in a position where you are controlling the money that you have. And it's staying in the house versus going out to somewhere that you don't know anything about.
I like
hear
to call
that.
that buying power.
There it is.
Exactly.
Now,
Keep it up.
obviously, while you were learning these things, Eddie, what were some of the mistakes when you're putting together Phalanx? What were some of the things that were happening to you where you were like, okay, I need to do a course correction? When you're building this business, where you said, okay, I've got all this knowledge, I'm trying to get out to people. Perhaps I have to change the delivery strategy so I can meet the true need. What were some of those things, those crossroads, and some of those bridges that you had to backpedal on and go another direction?
Well, anytime that you're going to actually establish information, that you're going to deliver information to anybody, you have to develop the mechanism by which you're going to deliver it.
Okay.
And that means whether it's going to be through an educational course, whether it's going to be through a school, you have to decide what that's going to be. And it also has to be something that fit the footprint of your company. And so, I had all of this stuff, and you know how you want to dash in, you want to do everything that you can, but I didn't necessarily have all of the mechanisms in place. And in fact, we're still putting some of those things in place as we're speaking, because, when you're building a business, it's as you are learning or as you're going experience. So I would say to anybody, the biggest mistake you can make is to think that you got to have it all right. You don't have to have it all right. You just have to do something, and you're going to make mistakes. And as those mistakes are occurring, you make those corrections that become part of your experience.
Eddie, you were speaking to the people right now. I mean, we got Steph Love in the house, like blowing up the page. Look like we got a question over there, G.
Yeah, we do. So Loretha McClendon says, when I sold insurance for a company, I would show the policyholder how much that has grown since they had the policy, and they can borrow that money. And once they get it to a point to pay it back to the policy, they could tax-free, I might add.
Correct. As long as you take money out of a policy in the form of what's called a loan, then the IRS does not consider it income. So as that occurs, here you have this money that you have available. Now, as you are in your accumulation phase, this is the time that you are building up and preparing for retirement, then yes, you should put it back. But if you're in retirement and you want to create a secondary stream that is tax-free, you take money out of your policy in the form of what's called policy loans. Just never pay them back. It doesn't kill the policy.
Because it's your money.
It's your money.
It doesn't
You're
kill,
just paying yourself back.
It doesn't kill the policy. Actually, what you're doing is you're borrowing money from the insurance company against the strength of your policy.
Got it.
Which is based on your cash reserves in your policy.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what creates the amount of money that's available to you. Okay, they do charge you an interest, but your policy also creates an interest. So that's why they say, well, you can borrow money that's going to cost you 1 or 2%.
That's the net.
Yeah, it's because the insurance company may charge you 7, but your policy is getting 5. So the net of that out of pocket is a 2%.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Right. And the benefits, can you talk to our audience about the benefits of doing that versus going to a traditional bank?
Well, first of all, understand what bank and consumer loans are about. Consumer loan is really a law. It's not benevolence. So banks are not doing it because they have to. Banks are doing it because there was a law that was written. If you're in banking, you understand what I'm talking about. What banks truly are set up for, and the only people they really want to loan money to is people that don't need money. See, if I have money in the market and my money is receiving 12%, and I can have access to your money, and your money you can give it to me for 5. Why would I go and take my 12% money out of the market to use it when I can borrow your money for 5 and still get a 7% spread when I pay it back? So that's really what that's consumer banking is about. The reason that you really don't want to do that is because you lose control over your money. Credit is and some people are going to get me about this, but credit and credit scores is a figment of an imagination. And the reason that I say that is because that's what they use to keep money flowing in the system. So if you stop borrowing money, they will drop your number and say that you are not as credit worthy because you're not utilizing credit. But if you borrow too much, then they will say that you're out of control, which you are, and we're going to cut you off. But the bottom line is they want to keep money flowing through the system, and they want to control how fast it flows, at what volume, at what level, and all of that, and they do it through what's called a FICO score. And so that's really what it's about. But when you become your own bank, can you imagine the guy that has bought a home for his children? They don't worry about a mortgage.
No.
Dad is the mortgage.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
They don't worry about foreclosure. Dad is the foreclosure, right? They don't worry about the credit score. Dad is the credit score. The money is there. Now, what we do is at that point teach them the same financial intelligence so that when dad and mom is gone, that policy cashes out. They're able to do the same thing for the next generation. Because each generation actually should start where the last one left off, not where the last one started. And that's the key.
We're going to put a pin in that.
Yep. I'm going to just sit here with it.
Not where the last one left off. The problem is it's starting where the last one started. That's the problem.
Listen.
It's supposed to be where they left off.
Listen.
$2 million policy. It's supposed to be where they left off.
Listen.
Facebook Live, we love you. We adore you. We thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you're just getting a good sneak peek of this. We got the rest of the episode to go, but you've got to go over to our website and subscribe. Go over to sphere.tv/Startup Masters and make sure you subscribe. We've got it available on iTunes. We've got it available on SoundCloud, Google Play Music, as well as Stitcher for our techie folks. Now, while you're at one of those sites, make sure you review this. Make sure you give us some constructive criticism. Hit those stars. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know how we can continue to create and perfect our show for you. And of course, while you're doing that, share this out with all your family, your friends, your colleagues, your lovers, your haters, anybody and everybody. Get this out on the word. And last but not least, of course, if you truly love what we're doing and you want to sow back into us, hop over to our donation site at thesphere.tv/donate. We've got 2 options for you, a single donation as well as a Patreon donation, which will be a monthly subscription. So $2, $5, $10 a month, whatever you got to sow into the Sphere as we continue to sow back into you. Remember, the rest of this will be up late tonight, if not tomorrow morning. Make sure you subscribe right here for Startup Masters. All right, Facebook Live. We'll see you. So let me pull this pin out. And Eddie, dive a bit deeper into where you are today with Phalanx, what you all provide today, as well as, and I'm going to deviate just a little bit, as well as some of the problems you see today and the solutions you all have to fix those problems. Because this is a solution-oriented table. This is what we do here. We provide solutions for the people.
Okay. Well, where I am today, as far as Phalanx is concerned, is, insurance, when you talk about sales, is going to be a transactional type business. And so our biggest challenges is to put ourselves in a position where we're more contractual, which means that we have bigger contracts with, using our financial acumen to have a certain amount of a certain level of stability come into the company financially. And I think any company should do that regardless to what you are. That's one thing that you should always do, is make sure that is you have a regular amount that's coming in, and you do that through contracts. But one thing that we have done is we have been working a lot with educators. So we work a lot with 403Bs. We work a lot with life insurance, with annuities, 401Ks. But we'd also expanded a little bit more into businesses, because we noticed that as people here are becoming more attuned to wanting to do business, and particularly, I shudder to say the millennials, I call them thought leaders. Change agents. They don't.
I like that. Change agents.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it is.
They don't really like that millennial thing that somebody else gave them that name and they want to name themselves. So a thought leader, a change agent. We talked to them about the types of things that's going to happen in the future. As we see it, no one has a crystal ball, but we know that we've had a lot of wars, and we know that we've had a lot of national disasters and natural disasters. And all of them been paid on credit cards. Well, guess what? The largest generation is passing off the scene, the baby boomers. That's where the wealth was. Now there's going to be a generation skip of wealth to what's called the next largest group, which they call the millennials. Well, guess what? They're waiting for them to get out of school. That's you. They're waiting for them to get out of school. They're waiting for them to get through college. They're waiting for them to stabilize themselves in their jobs. And guess what? They're going to pay for it through taxes. So things out there like Roth become important parts of a conversation. How do you keep more of your money, right? If you're retiring in the next 10 years and next 5 years, then traditional is fine, because we're in a favorable taxing season, or tax rate system season right now. But if you're going to be 25 years from now, 30 years from now, look out. This stuff is coming due. You got to pay the bill, right? How are they going to raise it? Through taxes. That's why they got more IRS boots on the ground. They're gearing up. It's going to be tremendous. Now, let me tell you some history. Back in the 90s, a lot of people were not here back in the 90s when President Reagan was in office. We had a couple of years where the income tax rate was 97%. That's when gas first went up to 99 cents a gallon. That's when you had the block of cheese and the block of butter. So when people go into the gas station on even and odd days, there's a lot of stuff going on, right? We had a tax revolt. Well, we'll never see 97% again, I don't think. Well, what happens, we're in a 15 to 25%, maybe 39% if you are very wealthy, tax rate. What happens if it's 55%? That means money that you're saving right now in a 25% environment, when you get to spend it, is going to be in a 55% environment. Means that of your dollar, you get to keep 45 cents. So why not invest your money and put your money aside and accumulate it in a 25% environment? And when it comes out in that 55% environment, if that happens, you win, because it's tax free.
Did y'all catch that? Like, do we all need to rewind that? And he can say that again, because it was so good. It was so good. And you know what's even more impressive about this is that you're speaking about this from a point of subject matter expert, which tells me that you have put in at minimum 10,000 hours. You are the expert at this, my friend, because you really just made that so easy to remember and so easy to think through, and put a little bit of fear.
Just a little bit.
Because did you see me? I twinkled a little bit. I was like, whoa.
When he said that.
When he said 45 cents to the dollar.
I got a little warm.
I don't know
I
what to
was a
say
little warm.
anymore. Yeah, me too. I
Yeah.
got a little something.
I got a little upset. I was well. Who do I need to see?
Right.
Somebody needs to see me.
ASAP.
Cash me outside for real. Yes, because we're about to have a problem with that 45 cents.
Right, that I'm
Surely.
keeping out of my dollar.
Surely there's a problem. So before we continue, for the people who's got 45 cents,
Come on.
we'd like you to bring that 45 cents, or at least a couple of quarters of that, over here to the Sphere. So this portion of the show is sponsored by the Sphere. Are you starting your business or looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at the Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue coupled with your strategic ad is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Bring us them quarters, those coins, because you only got 45 cents.
You only got
left.
45 cents.
That's all you got. That's all. That is
Just
it.
bring 2 dimes.
That is it.
And a nickel.
Now, obviously, Eddie, Phalanx takes a lot of due diligence.
Yep.
It takes a lot of perseverance. It takes a lot of business acumen to keep things moving forward. But what are you doing to keep the batteries charged in order to continue to deliver these things, to deliver that unbiased approach? What are you doing behind the scenes to stay rejuvenated and how would I say, protecting that creative space as the business continues to prosper?
I think that the most important thing that any business owner can do, I know that for me, is absolutely necessary. You have to live intentionally.
Speak on that for a second.
You have to actually be willing to die on that hill. This is what I'm going to do. And understand that anytime you are after success, success doesn't just come to you. It's actually a battle. It's actually a fight. It's not easy. Our life here is intended to be challenging. And so it challenges you in all of the areas that either you need discipline or you need courage, or as we say overall, just faith to step out there and to do it. And you have to be willing to fail without the intent of quitting if you do. You know, it's sort of like being back in the day. You know, I grew up on the north side of Houston, and if you got in a fight, it was going to be a fight. I mean, you know, I might go down, but you will absolutely know that you were in a fight.
Yeah.
No
question.
You got in a fight.
You know, it's going to be one of you giving your best punch, and I might be down, and you getting ready to walk off, and I'm stepping on, where you going? And you turn around like, oh, man, okay. That's what it's got to be.
Tenacity.
Like. Yes. Now, to keep yourself pumped up, and some of it comes with education, but it also comes with surrounding yourself with the right people. You got to shut off the negative voices. You got to shut off those people who does not roll with your dream. Not necessarily that they have to be on your boat or they have to be going in the same direction or actually doing what you do, but people who are like-minded is what we call it. And that's sort of how we got together here, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, because I'm in a different industry than yours, but we were like-minded and we clicked. And that brought us to this place that we can feed off of each other's energy. Not one drain the other, but we sort of energize each other and keep each other excited and moving forward. In days when you don't feel it, you got to have somebody there that just somewhere out of nowhere maybe just says, you know, that one thing that makes the difference, that make you say, you know what, I got one more day in me. I'm going to do it one more day. One more day.
It's so funny you say that, because you might not know this or remember. I don't know if I told you, but you called me about a month ago, and I was having one of those days. You know how you had one of those days? It was just like, oh, it's just going to be one of these days. Ain't nothing going to go right today, so let me just go ahead on and get my shield, my phalanx ready, because the world is about to chew me up and spit me out. And you called me, and you left the sweetest message on my voicemail. And what's really cool about it is a lot of times we feel like we need to have these relationships for years and years and years. But don't discredit the person you just met that can definitely walk into your life and immediately inject you with joy, with passion, with fulfillment, with some encouragement, especially on those days when you don't need it.
Yeah, yeah, we all do need it.
Totally.
Yeah,
we all
especially
do
as
need it.
entrepreneurs. I mean,
Oh,
it's important.
absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
that safety net of people is so important.
That safety net of people. Come on.
If I could say this, and this is back on because I got so much in this financial thing. I just love to talk about this. But here's the deal. Employment is good. A person that's working is good. Is good for the system. You are the perfect taxpayer because you have no deductions. It's where they get you. 25%, 35%, 39% more you make, and you can just slim it down a little bit. But you know what? You're always, in America, we should always have that side business. You need to have a business. You have to have a business. Let me tell you why. If you have a business, even if you work for your business, like I work for Phalanx, right? If you have a business, you work for your business, you pay yourself up to what the IRS would say would be a reasonable salary. But you're going to make more than reasonable money, right?
That's the goal.
So you take the rest out of what's called a K-1 distribution. See, the tax system is written for the wealthy people.
Here come the notes.
It's a K-1 distribution. The K-1 distribution says that there is a flat rate. It's the same rate that you have on capital gains, which means that if you make $70,000 in your company, but you actually made $250,000, you take a salary of $70,000, pay ordinary income tax W-2. You take the balance of it in the K-1 distribution and pay 20%. That's the strength of owning a business.
Now wait. So that balance, is that being forwarded into the actual business, or are you still keeping that under you?
That's
and
in
you're
your money.
That's whoa.
The business has the money.
Yeah.
You can do it once a quarter, once every 6 months, once a year, once a month if you want to, if you have the money there. Take a K-1 distribution, write yourself a check, K-1 check. Says this is profits. And you will pay 20% tax on it. That's how Mr. Trump did it.
Oh.
So
It's about to get real.
Already.
It is a wealthy person's game. But the wealthy person's game only because they understand the strength of business, and businesses are who wrote the tax laws. So if tax laws are written by the businesses, who is it going to favor? The businesses.
Always.
Yeah. So if you have a business, you want to put yourself in a position where you want to pay your income tax so they don't mess with you. But also you have some other advantages. Take advantage of the laws as they are established for you. And that's something that we all should be able to do, but we don't know to do it. And that's part of what Phalanx does, is educate.
But you know what, going back to we don't know to do it, I'm always down for when you know better, you do better, right? And one of the things that just hit home when you said this is how Mr. Trump did it, his children are ready. They already know the game, right?
Oh, yeah.
But meanwhile, we're just getting introduced to the game. And yeah, I wonder how many of you guys have grabbed little Kalia, little Gary, little Eddie to come sit and listen to this podcast, because it's that important. Like, we need to start teaching them now.
Exactly.
Before they really truly have a handle on money, because they need to have a love relationship with money, not a hate one. Right?
Exactly. I mean, and this is one of the reasons why part of our footprint is that when we work with a client, we work with them beyond that first generation. I have teachers that I've helped retire. And now I'm working with their children because from the very beginning, I taught them, and then I taught their children, and so on, and so on, and so on. And that's something that we got to do, particularly within our culture, is because we are a little bit behind in terms of in terms of economic intelligence. Not that we are dumb people; it's just that we have not been socialized toward that. Right. And now we have to reprogram ourselves and socialize ourselves toward that, to utilize all of those tools so that we can have advantage of this system like everybody else.
Absolutely.
And once you understand, he who has the goal makes the rules. If you have money, you can project that money as power, and you can do a lot more with projected money as power than you can do with projected bodies in protest.
Look.
Hey. He just gave us another one, like straight DJ Khaled.
Straight up DJ Khaled.
Yes.
I wonder though, you have been dropping gems on this show within the first minute or so.
Yeah, he started out the gate.
How do you keep yourself? I'm sure you're thinking about this stuff nonstop. I'm willing to bet you're waking up in the middle of the night sometimes like, oh, I gotta look into this. I gotta look into that.
Yep.
But what is Eddie Stallworth doing for self-care? Like, what are you doing to ensure that you just don't go crazy for Cocoa Puffs? You know?
Well, the thing is, this is like a call to me. Among other calls that I have in my life, to do better for my people. And I don't lose it simply because I'm not in love with money.
Yeah.
I don't love money. It's a tool. It's a tool to be used. And if I could use an example, the best example that I can think of is like a 007 James Bond. Dude drives a Vantage and will roll it into a mountain if it comes down to it, because the car is only useful for as long as it's gonna meet his goal. And when it's no longer meeting his goal, he's gone. You jump out of a thing, run into a mountain, blow up. Well, that's the same thing with money. We can't fall in love with money. It's a tool. But when we use it correctly, we're able to do things that enhance our lives. And right now, sometimes in consumerism, we live for the money instead of the money living for us. And that's one thing that we got to do. So it keep me from going crazy because, it's an education process. It's how I'm helping people to understand that. But at the same time, it helps me to stay grounded with it as well. It's a tool. And I think about it all the time. But, hey, some people will get it, some people won't. I can't force anybody.
Right.
So I don't tax myself with it. If you want to know what I want, what I know, you sit down with me, we talk about it, we do some things. It's not necessarily free. It's going to cost you a little money. But we can, at the end of the day, you're going to be where you want to be if you listen to me.
Well, if you take that away, what are you doing for fun? How are you shutting that down? What do you enjoy to do?
That's what you were asking me.
Yeah, but you gave me some good stuff too.
Okay. Well, well, I haven't started really having fun yet. And my kind of fun is really different. I have a bucket list. And, one of the things that's coming up on my bucket list real soon is in Rosenberg, and it's at 14,000 feet, jumping out of a perfectly good plane.
Skydiving.
Nice.
Yeah. And the next thing is I have a friend of mine. He's been to Ireland. He bungee jumped, and he told me, for the first 2-3 seconds of that jump, I had convinced myself that I just committed suicide. I told him I'm in, because it's the most enlightening. It's when you are closest to life. But I want to travel the world. I want to do a lot of different things. And my idea of retirement is a little bit different. I don't think that I'll ever stop working. I think that I will just work on things that matter to me. So, it won't be because I'm trying to meet a bill or trying to make money. It'll be because it's just things that I do that matter. It may even cost me money to do it. To me, that's retirement. I think that in retirement, you should do what you want. I don't think that in retirement, you should stand in the doorway of Walmart because you need a check.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
As simple as... Normally, Eddie.
And not to put anybody working for Walmart down. That's not what I'm doing.
No. I mean, you're just speaking real life because people, there's more to be had if you just know how to go out and use the proper tools to get it. Yep. You want to build that financial, how you want to build that legacy, you got to know how to use the tools that are presented to you. And if you don't, you know where to go.
Right.
Phalanx. Let's talk about it. Normally, I would hit you with what's your X factor? You ain't already spread this table with the X factor. We already know what it is. That knowledge is there, man. It's things about you that really keys in. Am I right, KG?
You right about it. You know what keys in for me about Eddie?
Talk about it.
Is that smile. And speaking of a smile that can get that smile, right? This portion of the show is sponsored by my good friends at Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We are committed to the finest possible oral care and the overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built upon a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through our commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and friendly atmosphere, we strive to make our patients feel that they are a part of our family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable. Dr. Batiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Ashandra Batiste at Elite Dental Wellness at 713-789-8680. And I hear if you say the Sphere, you get 10% off.
I believe that is correct.
Eddie talking about saving some 45 cents.
Hey.
So 10% might come in handy.
Hey, that's 25% of that. Yeah, a little bit more, 12% of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's continue to move through this. And I what I want to know is, where do you foresee Phalanx at 5, 10, 20 years from now? You talk about the things on your bucket list. Let's talk about the things on your business list. What you got going on?
Well, right now, Phalanx is actually going through the minority business certification with the City of Houston. We intend to do some type of compliance work with the city, the county, the Port Authority, the state of Texas, Montgomery County. So we're going to expand that certification across different counties and different governmental agencies where we can do work for them. And out of that, we intend to become an absolute financial powerhouse. We will use that to come back into areas and to, number one, educate, number two, to become a change agent, to where, I always talk about money directed can become a force. That's one thing that the Koch brothers have done, is they've taken their money and they have made it an absolute weapon. They can exert their force through their money. Understand, in America, companies can't vote because they're individuals. They are considered people, but they are not real people, so they can't vote. But they vote every time. They create policy because they have money. So when you have money, you're able to do those things. So in 5 years from now, Phalanx, we will be doing what's called the WASP Institute. And it was funny when I came up with that name. It was like WASP. Oh, that's going to be interesting to explain. But actually what it means, if you look at it, it's a pyramid with a wide base, WASP, P being at the bottom. But if I talk about it from the bottom up, it's protection, savings, accumulation, and wealth. And what I'm going to talk about is how to go from protecting everything that you have, which is the very first thing that you should do, to saving, and now to accumulating, and now to having wealth that becomes legacy that you can pass on to the next generation. So when you have a pyramid that way, the next pyramid from the next generation shouldn't start like this one at the base. It should actually start at the very top of the W, and then the base starts at the wealth, and then it builds again. So you go through that whole process over and over and over again, so that each generation continues to establish yourself at the top, at the pinnacle of where the previous generation ended.
I love that. What's so poignant is that we're talking about that right now on our Money Factor show. We're talking about the financial foundation, and we've been working our way through, starting with protection and working on savings and moving into now investing, which is at the top of that pyramid.
Right.
When we talk about building wealth long term versus short term. So we definitely want to get you over to have that conversation there as well. Let me just throw that in because we need to have the conversation. Yeah. So let me throw this. You ready for this, KG?
I'm ready.
You sure?
Go ahead and slide it in.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna throw this in. All right. We talk WASP, right? We talk wealth at the top. The accumulation phase. We talk about the saving phase, having that 3 to 6 months. So people understand the emergency plan. You got those emergency funds there, preferably liquid. But there's all kind of conversations we can talk about that, because at the bottom of that, with the protection, there's ways you can put some emergency money in there. So there's a bunch of different things. But let's say I flick away the protection. Let's say I take away the accumulation. Let's say I take away the savings. Let's say I take away the wealth building strategies. Let's say I take it all the way down. Let's say we break down Phalanx brick by brick and take the business away to dust. Nothing's left, Eddie, except for you and the knowledge. And we're all the way back to 2006, 2007, before the financial crisis. You've got everything that you've learned thus far for the last 10 years that you've been doing this, plus the 17 years you've been doing financials. Not to mention the years you put in for real estate. We're talking tens upon tens of thousands of hours. Am I right?
Yeah,
KG?
we are.
We pass you some seed money to start over again.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do differently now that you didn't do the first time building Phalanx? Let's talk about it.
Well, the one thing that I would do different if I had to start all over again is I would have never ever had a captive relationship with any insurance company, which is one thing that we did correct. We are a totally independent firm. I have relationships with three major insurance companies. All three of them are 150, 160-year-old companies, so they've been around for a while, good reputation. But what it allows me to do is to actually serve the need of the client instead of having to worry about serving the need of an insurance company who's pushing me to do certain things in a certain way. So I don't have an allegiance to an insurance company. I can be more holistic with my clients. I would do that sooner than later. And then these types of conversations that I'm having now, I would have been having from the very beginning. So Phalanx 2.0 is what you're talking about.
Talk about
Phalanx.
it. I like
Come on,
that.
2.0.
It would, yeah, because Phalanx is perfect. It is what we do to protect people against unnecessary loss. We help them to accumulate wealth, and we help them to pass on legacies to their families. That's what Phalanx is all about, protection as well as offense. So it'd be Phalanx 2.0. But we would just do those things that we're doing now faster and better.
There it is.
Yeah.
Efficient 2.0. Streamline the process.
Yes.
Making the small changes here or there that gives you a higher level of efficiency, and it allows you to be what we say earlier. We want to make sure that we have an unbiased approach.
Correct.
That's what it's all about, man. Serving the people.
Right.
That's the common theme that we get at this table each and every week.
We sure do.
It's about serving the people. That's how you know the signs of a great business, of a great entrepreneur, because he understands it's not about the money. It's about the service to the people. The money will come if you're doing the right things by the right people. The dollars will flow, but your heart's got to be in the right place. Eddie,
If I could add anything.
sure.
The other thing that we're doing is through our holistic approach, what it really means is that we do a lot of collaboration. So, I have conversations with clients, and we're not necessarily able to help them. And so what we will do is we will make sure that the help that they need, that we have the relationships to bring that to the table. I'll give you an example. We have a charter school in the Houston area that we work with. And in first sitting down with the superintendent, what we discovered was that they needed money. Well, I'm not a capital venture. I'm a venture capitalist. I'm not. But I have a relationship with a bank. So what I did was I brought the bank to the table, and I got them financing. So out of that, though we built now relationship, there are other things that we could do that does benefit Phalanx. But because we do that, we're able to holistically approach things. So if someone needs has tax issues, they need some help with taxes. I don't do taxes. I have a relationship with people that I bring to the table to do that. And we create our relationship in such a way that when I bring them to the table, it is a seamless transfer of service. So they think they're getting it from one person, but it's a team of us coming together from different disciplines, and we have just agreed to make sure that it is as simple and easy in the transition for the client as we can make it.
Man,
You rolling out the red carpet for these folks.
it's as smooth as that blue jacket, man. It's so smooth. It sounded so good. I was like, take my money, man. That's my fun.
Let's
Man.
have it.
Come on, man. Get the legacy right.
Turnkey. Come on.
Talk about it. That's what that is. That's turnkey solutions.
Come on, Eddie.
Yeah, we're Sewell. We're not Mac Height.
Talk about you hear?
Listen, Sewell is the truth. I doubt I would probably ever purchase another car for someone else because of that service and that experience.
High touch.
That's important. That is important.
Ooh-wee.
Eddie, here
It's
this.
hot.
It is. We're on fire here at Startup Masters. Eddie, what we'd like to do right now is officially, my good sir, coin you a startup master. Thank you so much for coming to the table today, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Man,
so
we
much
appreciate
for
you,
inviting
man.
me and having me here
These
to share.
gems. We're going to have a heck of a time cutting up some snippets, man.
Yeah.
There's so many gems.
I have so many notes.
So much. Please let everyone know where they can reach you at, all your social media, anywhere they can find you
Okay.
at.
Well, first and foremost, you can find me at my website, www.phalanxfsg. That's PHALANXFSG.com. I also have a LinkedIn page. You can reach me, Phalanx, of course. Facebook as well, at PhalanxFSG, as well as Instagram. So you can find us all of those places. But if you want to get in contact, you can prospect inquiries at .pfsg@outlook.com or 832-779-7374. That's 832-779-PFSG. You can reach us and we'll be glad to talk to you. If you want to set an appointment, go to the website, go to the site, go to the page, set it up, and send us an email, and we'll call you back and set it up with you.
There it is. Yep. KG, of course, where can they reach you at?
Oh, man, I'm so full over here. Full of that knowledge. So you guys can catch me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook at KOG Speaks. That's KOG Speaks, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. What about you, G?
And, of course, anywhere online, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, a few other places that we won't talk about, at G Hawkins. That's G Hawkins with a Z. This has been another excellent episode of Startup Masters. We will see you all next time. Take care.
Peace.